Hello everyone, Coach Stowe here. So you don't want to have immobile hips because that can cause a problem with everyday living and the things that you just do on a day-to-day basis, just living life with your ADLs or activities of daily living. So, and let's be honest, immobile hips can be a pain in the, So, today I have for you a pancake stretch progressions that can help you go from not being able to do the pancake stretch and having immobile hips to being able to do the pancake stretch and having more mobile and flexible hips.
Step 1. Assemble ingredients.
So, the first thing that you're going to do is just good mornings. Now, you have to be careful with these ones and make sure that you're doing them right, because if you don't do them right, it can be bad for your lower back. So just pay attention. So you're going to hinge at the hips and lean over. Right, just as far as you can. And from the side, you're going to hinge from the hips and lean over. Flat back, hips come out, and back up. Just as far over as you can. Because again, you don't want to feel this in your lower back. You want to use your glutes and your hamstrings. Because that's really what we're focusing on right now to be able to get more flexible mobile hips. So, rear comes out, head goes forward, and back up. So, this will help you start getting some more flexibility and mobility in there. And you can also have a wall or something, stand in front of it and lean until you touch it, and then back. That can give you that tactile cue for your rear going back to help you remember not to use your lower back. And remember, keep your back flat and use your glutes and your hamstrings.
Step 2. Mix batter.
Now the next thing is going to be a side squat. So you're going to step out a little bit and come down, just as far as you can. If all that you can do, you step wide, and if all that you can do is just come down to here or to here, that's where you're going to start. But as you work on it, you would come down lower and lower and lower until you can get down low. And then you work on the other side and down low. So of course you're not going to start here, but this is what you're working towards when you're on this level. Okay, after you've gotten the good mornings, you come to this side squat here and just as far down as you can. Just step wide and just as far down as you can. And lower and lower. So you work on that again, working on the hamstrings and the thighs and the hips, working to loosen up the hips and get them more mobile, flexible, and stable. So that's the second progression.
Step 3. Pour pancakes.
And now we're going to be on the floor for this next progression. So what we're going to do is the butterfly stretch. So you're just going to sit here with your feet together, your knees out, and you're just going to get your knees as close to the floor as you can. And even just sitting in this butterfly stretch without focusing on your knees to start with would be a good place to start. But as you progress through it, as you work on it, try to get your knees to the floor. And you can push your knees down with your elbows or your hands, but don't press too hard because you don't want to injure yourself, of course. So, which is why it might be good to just focus on getting your knees to the floor without pushing if you can. So that's the next progression, and you might even add a little bit of a dynamic stretch here by flapping your knees, by flapping butterfly wings. So that's the next progression.
Step 4. Flip pancakes.
And for this next progression, you're going to get yourself a bench or a box or anything up off the floor. And you're going to sit on it and you're going to spread your feet out. And you're going to lean over. And just lean over. Getting to that pancake stretch from this seated position. And learning how to keep your back flat and things like that instead of rounding your back to get that pancake stretch. But if you start on the floor, you might have to be rounding your back in order to do the pancake stretch, and we don't want that. So we're going to start up like this, lean over, kind of like the good mornings, and back up. Over and back up. So that's how we're going to start it instead of starting on the floor. And you can lower the elevation as you progress through this movement. You know, as you get better and better at the leaning over and back up, you can lower the elevation until you're on the floor.
Step 5. Enjoy your pancakes.
Okay, now you have lowered the elevation of your elevated pancake, and you work through that, and now you're on the floor. So we're going to spread our legs, of course, and we're going to come forward. And you can start just here, putting our forearms on the floor, and coming back up. And then a little bit further, keeping your back flat, and up. And a little further, and back up. Keeping your back flat, and all of that. And until you can get all the way down to the flat back, and not rounding, and all the way down. So, but you start here, and from the side, we look a little something like this. So, you have your legs spread, flat back, and up. Flat back and up. You don't want to round your back like this, because that's not getting the stretch that we want. That's not getting, it's not helping loosen up your hips. None of that. And that can put too much strain on your lower back. And we don't want that. We want flat back. Because then you start feeling the stretch in your hamstrings and in your hips. So, these are progressions that will help you work through that hip immobility to loosen up your hips and to get to that pancake stretch. Because sometimes if you try to go straight to an exercise or a stretch, then doing more reps of it won't necessarily help you progress in that exercise or that stretch. You have to have the right ingredients, the right steps leading up to it. Excuse me. Like, you know, you have to have, like if you were making pancakes, you'd have to have the right ingredients. And you have to lay out your ingredients, and then you mix the flour and the eggs and the butter and the baking soda and the milk. You'd mix it all up. You'd make sure that the griddle was at the right temperature. You wouldn't just throw things together and things like that. You have to have the right steps to getting to the exercise that you're wanting to progress in. So these are the ingredients that will help you get to your pancakes recipe. Loosen up your hips. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, please do give it a thumbs up and subscribe and ring that bell icon so you don't miss the next video and miss out on things like this, breaking down exercises and stretches to help you progress in your workouts, and Tai Chi routines and workouts specifically for you. And as always, train hard and stay inspired. And I'll see you next time.